been loving all season long so far, and that may be the pick, in fact, and we'll give them a lot of flexibility, a lot of ability to roam around the map, a lot of ability to pair up with the Jarvan for some early plays. And definitely gotta be reliant on that early advantage here, and will give you the ability to try to set these guys behind. A nice stun there found by Kyle, and Hope going to take an aggressive Valkyrie in just to keep that trade going. Elk relatively untouched, though, starts to fire away as JJ is trading alongside Tarzan. Does get the fear to get a nice one there. Another stun found by Kyle, going to guarantee the Phosphorus Bomb, but Elk has the barrier shield. Arha going to have to flash away as well, and now JJ left a little bit alone as Shanks finds him, feared back away. TP incoming. This is Xiaohu in the middle of a 1 versus 4, caught by the flag and drag of Tarzan, and soon to be falling for first blood. Shanks cleans it up.
I don't care about one Krug. JJ unaware of where Tarzan is, but Shanks doesn't know where JJ is.
Yeah, Shanks could be able to dash back away. Instead, going to go in. Pushes in Xiaohu, who still doesn't have the flash. Shockwave connects onto Shanks, though, and allows JJ to equalize the scoreboard, but it only lasts an instant as Tarzan will clean up the kill onto Xiaohu.
Yeah, the bot lane of Waybo, specifically Elk, has done a really good job of evening out that lead. As
aggressively getting inside the enemy jungle, roaming around the map, making the full annoyance felt as Xiaohu finds an engage in mid lane. They don't combo the ultimates, but they don't need to. They stay on to Shanks and finish him off before Tempered Fate can connect, as now Kyle might be the next target. Flag and drag in from Tarzan, trying to keep the Orianna still. Xiaohu flashes away, but now he's caught inside the Cataclysm, and Hope will finish off the kill. Arha trying to stay on top of him with the Unbreakable Will running, but now Elk is the next target. Tarzan finds another flag and drag. JJ's in too far as well. Hope just gunning him down one after the other as Waybo are forced back away. AL take a significant gold lead as Hope gets one more.
It buys time, but Arha's here, but Hope's here first, and he has so much damage back in live.
Slicker connects the public execution, holding Hope in place, but now through the portal, but JJ doesn't care, connects a Paranoia. Now Tempered Fate onto 2, double knockup found by Tarzan once again. JJ falling low, and Shanks will get him down with the Soldier. Arha now channeling that Unbreakable Will, going to be tough to work through, but Xiaohu deep behind enemy lines, stuck inside the alcove and picked apart by Shanks. AL get 2 more.
Kyle and Tarzan are just running this map right now. I don't know how Hope got where he is. Tarzan still going.
Looking onto Arha, and Shanks gets a third.
Kyle are a little bit ahead, and Shanks, 1 for 1 in mid, and now they're 5
in their current states.
I guess the one silver lining, the tiny, it's very small, is that Waybo have 1 dragon, so the dragon stacking is a while away, but here's Flash.
He has Flash, and it will be used. Flandre uses the Unstoppable Force, or the
TP
Onslaught, rather. TP in, Shockwave connects. They are holding down Arha, and they're going to try to focus him down. Elk finally gets his last auto, but what about the rest of the health bars? Shuffled on in by Shanks. Down goes the AD carry, down goes Xiaohu, and Tarzan just can't miss these flag and drags. He's going to clean up 1 more as AL win out another team fight 4 for 1.
Get that fight back in their control, but Waybo are completely shut out. They have no business moving anywhere. This game just might be done, Gordo.
Another huge influx of gold as they take down the inner turret. Mid-outer, the last outer standing. Not long for this world, unless Waybo can find themselves a little bit of a skirmish that they like. Decent damage onto Flandre, but none onto Hope as the turret will fall. Elk gonna lose a big chunk of HP. Shanks arrives to throw in some soldiers, and they have to heal.
Up 2,500 gold, doesn't have a shutdown. Would have been nice to get some gold in the pockets of Waybo, but yeah, this Herald in Season 16, so much more valuable because maybe you would have used it last year, got some damage, some chip damage in a game like this. Doesn't really matter, right? But now you get 2-3 plates maybe with the Herald usage, plus access to the Drake Pit if you want to go that route, and cement your gold lead even more. It's 7,500 gold. It's Hextech Soul as well. We might not even see the Soul taken, Gordo. Like, this game is so far gone.
We very well may not. Tarzan looking for another collapse here. Elk is slowed up, hit by the Tempered Fate. Now the rest of AL circling like sharks in the water. Cannot get on towards Elk, though. Not quite enough distance closed. But the Rift Herald now here to charge into this mid lane turret, knowing that Waybo are a little bit weaker. Charge on in, going to take away all but the final plate. Tarzan going to continue to work onto this one until the turret does fall on down.
Does it still do the thing?
It does not.
It does, nice, okay. It is.
There's going to be an engage coming on through. Cataclysm connects and pulled out of the flag and drag by Xiaohu. Waybo's mid laner isolates Tarzan and gets a kill back. Now TP being channeled. This is Zika coming in to try to collapse with the public execution. Flandra follows him. JJ falls to about half HP. Public execution comes in. It finds Shanks. Headbutt going to take him outside of the magical journey. Elk trying to find the damage. Dashes forward but has to retreat in the face of the soldiers. Flandra basically invulnerable at this. It does get Xiaohu very close to his second item, but not quite
now.
Yep, Baron falling down to about half HP. Arha finally going to be able to step up. Throws down a control ward. Here's the paranoia, the shockwave combo. They manage to land it onto 3, but they don't secure the Baron, and they don't find anything kills-wise either.
Outside of the Yanara. The Yanara really the only one that has consistent damage output. You're looking to all in one target, blow that person up. Shanks.
Shanks up too
like
far.
that.
They find the engage onto him. Tempered Fate tries to time it, nearly gets it to Kael. Almost buying a lot of time for his mid laner. Tarzan's going to take the fight anyway. Cataclysm locks down Arha, and Hope will take him down through the ultimate. And they're not trying to stop there. Tarzan dashes forward. Elk able to space it out. Returns.
So yes, he dies. He loses his arm guard. But AL still have full control over the map. They've still got a minute of Baron if they want to try to break the bot side. Maybe the base, but Arha
found once again the young Waybo support being bullied this game. He uses the Unbreakable Will, but he may be broken regardless. They are just going to try to keep slowing him down with the Meeps. Finally, kill cleaned up by Hope, and it's a 5 versus 4 on the map once again. Zika did manage to pick up an objective bounty in the top side, taking down that outer turret, but does leave a lot of the rest of the map exposed. A late recall from JJ, in that at the very least a Crystalline Overgrowth going to fall in mid here. It's just a charge forward from Flandra. Here's the shockwave combo. Kael is one shot, but Hope still at a healthy total, going to get a TP.
I don't think that JJ can get in there. He has no flash. The dragon looks gone already, but maybe Waybo take the fight?
Yeah, they get themselves on a soul point, and Tarzan able to drag him away from that juicy Hextech soul.
And Waybo have brought the gold lead now down to 4.5k.
Tempered Fate finds, you guessed it, Arha. They're going to continue to work onto him. Arha doing his best to try to escape. TP incoming. This is Flandra, who's just going to take the onslaught in. Lands it onto Zika. Elk going to be Tarzan's target. He lands the Cataclysm and forces the flashback away. Down goes the top laner. Hope just standing, firing, and winning out in the battle. A triple to him. Xiaohu trying to stay alive. Going to be able to pop the Guardian Angel.
Waybo's fights have been that bad. You know, the shockwave combo that hit 3 people, there's just no damage from Waybo. They're so far behind, they can't do anything. AL break the base open. Are they going to try to end with 1 wave and no Baron?
See if they can do it. They got 10 seconds before JJ will rejoin them. Arha pushed back. Stun connects onto Xiaohu. So does the knockup. So does the flag and drag. Tarzan's all over him until Xiaohu falls. Elk and JJ trying to stage a defense. Zika going to rejoin them. It's still all 5 members. Hope able to space out the public execution. Zika jumps onto him. Is able to take down 1 kill. Elk still firing away onto Flandra. But Tarzan dashes back in, as does Shanks. And ace to AL, and game number 1 goes their way.
Is it necessarily a self-counter pick? Like, you're still playing melee support into Braum, which is really good for Braum. But unless you want to go Lulu MF, Karma MF, ew, that sounds awful. So you have to go something like Rel to play for the team fight. And again, AL going for that team fight idea.
Yeah, he's fine. He's going to try to start on up these grubs, and Tarzan waiting for a little bit of backup, maybe going to pull the trigger onto Zika. Will find him up against the wall with his premium display of talent. In comes Flandra with the Void Rush to be able to find that kill. Now Xiaohu next up on the menu. Does get a nice scatter of the week to create himself a little bit of space. JJ flashes in, finds an isolated Shanks, and makes the scoreboard 1-1.
More. Some Talias and Cassiopeias, I think, as well. just taking the combat summoner. Realm Warp behind the turret.
Shanks going to be immediately knocked up by the Glacial Fissure, but they're going to take the engage onto Arha, and Arha will be the first and perhaps only person to drop in this fight. As the
should be able to grab some XP at least, which is pretty nice, and well towards the late game. He's a really good mid-game skirmisher, but he can constantly generate mid-prior, use the culling to kill the wave, rotate first to objectives. Hope has to cleanse and flash. Is he still dead?
Ooh, Hope. One shot by Xiaohu, and that will be an advantage cross map, but AL going to try to pull the trigger on the top side.
That's right.
It is
Waybo have to get out. Arha isn't there. JJ goes over the wall.
So Waybo actually find their pathway on in. Tarzan was clearing out his camps, now going to regroup with the rest of the squad. Jumps over the wall, looks for a supreme display of talent, finds it out of 2. Bullet time on top. Arha down, and JJ forced to flash away.
They pick the support. Now there's nothing to stop you from us engaging on you a second time.
Arrives, but it's a little bit late to the party. They got about 4 plates down in mid, but they won't quite finish off the tower. And the Baron has spawned, but surely Waybo aren't going to look to start it this early unless they get a lockdown on Tarzan. One shot with all of Waybo's power, and the kill credit goes to Xiaohu. JJ going to get traded onto, though.
Like they did in game 1 with the Corki and an Azir. It's just not happening. But even though the gold lead isn't increasing, it's still 5,000 gold. This tower should break eventually. AL have full control over the map. Engage.
Yeah, they are going to use the cease and desist on Flandra, and he will be the first one to fall. Fight without their tanky Rek'Sai front line. The Baron going to get started up. Waybo going to bet no. Zika going to spot Tarzan on the side. Kyle going to charge forward. Arha throws up the shield, backs on away towards the rest of the team. Scab the weak lands onto Shanks. Zika still looking for an angle to get this fight started, looking to punish them inside this tight choke, but Shanks ghosts towards him and pushes him back away. Baron now down to half HP. Tarzan waiting over the wall. They're going to try to flip it. Tarzan is in there, going to try to back on away as the Magnet Storm comes down from Kyle, and the supreme display of talent finds 2. Baron falling lower and lower, smited on down, and goes the way of Tarzan, and AL with the rest of the members now ready to be cleaned up. Flandra has rejoined the battle. JJ just trying to buy space for the rest of his squad, but the Rek'Sai will hunt him down alongside Shanks. AL find the ace.
And you blink, Gordo, and the game's just over. It's a 7,000 gold lead. Look at how many towers there are left. This map control going to go fully over to AL. That was Waybo's chance. But the same way that AL can't burn the Baron too fast, neither can Waybo. They get wrapped around by Shanks. Flandra has time to come back, and there's just nothing that they can do. Now, look at these massive gold lead. Fight is 4v5. And one of the biggest reasons this is there were no ults for Waybo. They used everything for the pick. Only ult was Zika, and he was chunked down, outranged, and now look at Rive.
Yeah, looking for another fight here. Arha will be finished off by the bullet time. And it is another 5 versus 4 for AL, and they're looking to collapse onto Xiaohu. Full sending the entire crew towards the one member of Waybo who's been able to generate a little bit of gold for himself. And they will take down the last inner Zika with a little bit of rage splitting up on the top side, finally going to TP over to try to rejoin his team. Will it be too little too late to save the base? Kyle absorbing damage like it's nothing. Kyle taken down below half. And they're not going to slow down here. They've still got the Baron at their backs. They're going to start to work on towards the final inhibitor turret, or this bot side inhibitor turret. Zika going to get focused on down. Hope going to be able to claim that kill. Inhib going to fall. AL have successfully busted open the base.
They're not even concerned with the Dragon at all. They know that the Ocean Soul has no impact on this game. They're 11,000 gold up. That Baron was the game. There's nothing Waybo can do. This is shut.
Yeah, they're going to try to close it on out here, waiting on a couple more cooldowns. Arha trying his best to front line. It's going to have to be something ridiculous from Elk and Xiaohu. EP in, here's Shanks with the Realm Warp. He's up a little bit too far. He's going to be the one they pull the trigger onto. Goes into the stasis, buys a little bit of time. Triple scatter the weak, found by Xiaohu. But the supreme display of talent to hold him down and buy time for Hope on the opposite side. Still, too much damage is found. Hope is the last one alive. He's going to try to end the game single-handedly, but there's 3 members of Waybo trying to chase him down. Hope going to flash back away. Arha with the unbreakable shield, holding it down. Well, Elk finds the shots. He will drop at the end of the day, but the Nexus is defended by Waybo.
Pretty nice, but again, it's not going to mean anything. It's sole point for AL. Maybe they have to wait till next Baron. That's in a minute and a half.
Yeah,
Make a mistake. I will say one good thing. There's been no awful Xiaohu TPs this game. And he's played pretty well. Right, 4-1. I don't think that this game is necessarily a Realm Warp. They're just going for the Nexus. Okay.
Oh, no. Well, Tarzan and Shanks are here, and there's no stopping them. They're going to full send the squad to try to stop them, but Shanks is at full HP. They didn't even touch half of the backdoor crew.
That has benefited from the changes off of the Hextech Gunblade being added again. But we're not going to talk about Akali. Rookie saw Cream pick up the Yone the first time of the 2026 season and says, you know what? I can also play that champion. Rotation clear. We'll take the top crab. Way it goes for the bottom crab. And on with a quick roam is saying, hey, Knight, you look a little low on HP. I got you with some hot cocoa, and Rookie almost gets baited in, but Chway is there for the counter cover roam, but it's not enough to take out Knight. He will be forced to back on. Way! Q flash over the wall. Do it! Yeah, baby! We called it! It's just like the end of Split 3 regular season all over again. And Way's fist finds the mark once again. Schwinn forcing the flash out of Rookie.
That's a very expensive trade. And while it is a kill that goes over to Way, I'm just looking at the mid wave right now. It is in favor of Knight. Schwinn even gets to invade. Rookie never got that recall off. So despite the kill, this is a great start.
This should be a good punish. On does go down because Jway provides a lot of damage on the Nico, but now Schwinn, I don't think he kills Jway. There's still a flash available. Oh! Down strike procced into the whip becomes lightning. That was clean. But unfortunately now Schwinn is way too deep. So he's going to donate a kill back over to Fodic, and he gets Tier 2 boots completed for Knight, so as soon as he gets that role quest completed, he's going to have Tier 3 boots online. Nice Q3 into the all-out. Oh, Soboro. He's going to try to flash over the wall. Nah, he knows that there's no way out of that one. The equalizer does nothing, and yeah, Bin back in Giga Bin form. Rookie about to get solo kill. One more on attack. There we go. The wind-up doing its job. And
they're late for this play. They might get 2 on the rebounds afterwards, but I mean, Casante's just going to trap Rumble.
I think Jway did hit level 6, so they have to be careful about this Pop Blossom engage. They just look for On, and On just gets found out. One of the grubs is secured by Schwinn, but the Pop Blossom deflected by Schwinn! Crescent Guard at the perfect time, and now he dashes back in, forcing the flash out of Jway. Oh my goodness, Schwinn at peak form once again too, and Bin looking for another solo bolo added to the headshot record. Giga Bin is walking Saburo down. Solo kill.
This is mean. This is mean. This kid is super young. He's a new player. Okay, good. Let's go bully the other player. Let's go bully Jway on the other side of the map here. They're heading back from base, so that would have been a window where IG could have had numbers advantage, but
of the fact that Knight has picked up Luden's Echo as his first full official power spike. No Seraphs.
At best, negligible for Saburo. He knows he's going to lose this turret, and if he walks up to Orianna, he will just get caught. Them to connect through mid because IG have been really devoted to getting mid priority right now. So they get this dragon. I think this is a good spike because as IG, your champ, however much gold the Zonia's is. So continuing with that 2,400 gold lead. On's by himself. Thankfully, the portal's going to save him for now.
Does Way want to continue forward? Tempered Fate onto the main damage dealer. Cease and desist right onto the left, but the shockwave from Knight is there and blows up Way. Here comes the rest of the BLG reinforcements, and poor IG were lured into a false sense of security and lose 2 in an instant.
Viper as well over a 5-year career here in the LPL, or at least a couple of years spending.
I think the worst part about it is that the 2 members that had a decent amount of gold and were the ones spiking earlier for IG, very, very difficult for IG. That early game was very exciting, but ever since then, BLG has just reclaimed control. Oh my goodness, the Ghost, he's gonna run down Rookie. There's Way over the wall.
Oh my god!
Way as he comes in with the Vault Breaker, that is just awesome. And now IG in full retreat.
Oh my god, Bin!
With the flash and just pulls Fodic right back into him. Oh, this is just pure sexy.
Didn't use it on the first dive. We are 23 minutes in. I'd be willing to go back in the VOD and check it, but this is probably just another free MVP going over to the man in the mid lane right now. That's a Baron as well.
For IG fans, the consolation prize as they are now at Soul Point. The question is, will they even get a chance to actually claim Infernal Soul? Good dash by Rookie with the Soul Unbound on the Temper Fate, but a flash with the Cosmic Binding ensures that On can slow him down, but Rookie survives thanks to the Immortal Shield Bow.
Especially because he's held his flash for so long.
Knight does find Way in the bottom side jungle. There's a TP coming in. Will Knight be forced to use the flash this time? The Shockwave pulls him in. He's gonna almost kill him. He flashes over the Fate Sealed, and he goes golden. I don't think Knight is surviving that one, but man, the aura farming was almost real.
Well, look at what else. BLG now get on the other side of the map. On helping and supporting his mid laner. It means that multiple members, maybe Way just dies here. Come on. Not anymore. This is the part of the game that matters. This is Invictus Gaming's sole point here. If they can grab this dragon, a failed portal from On, but they're nowhere in position for this.
Rookie goes in with the Soul Unbound. Way tries to brute force his way through. Infernal Soul is denied. Now BLG need to reposition themselves and make sure that they are on proper battle lines. Don't want to give IG any freebies. Trying to cut off their paths back to the mid-tier 2. BLG just poking them afar and just maintaining vision control.
So
Fate on the 2.
Okay.
Shockwave right on there. On top of it, goes for 1, but they're able to use the Seekers to at least get out of there alive. Saboro does survive the engage. There's no more Shockwave available, but a GA is expended by Way, and he's the first one to drop, and now the rest of IG are going to be forced to retreat. Viper steps forward with the Arc of Ruin, does slow down Photic, but not enough damage. And the fact that Shockwave was expended on a Seeker's target
Best
there.
look that BLG would have been able to get after so much invested. They will grab the mid-tier tier 1, but there's a Baron now being friended here by BLG, and they have no smite. They have no way of getting into this pit. This has to be a massive Shockwave. Equalizer's coming off a cooldown now.
Way's got to be careful, but if he can find a moment, Flash Proto Belt available for a Pop Blossom, he would have to get it onto multiple people. He's going to turn for it, but he gets interrupted on the way in. Schwinn secures the Baron. Equalizer over the top, but BLG members still stand tall with another Shockwave right onto multiple members, and IG all hit the floor.
Seems like they're just going to go for some multiple inhibitor turrets at the very least, get themselves paid, and put this at a 10,000 gold deficit.
The Nexus will not fall just yet, but BLG are doing their due diligence and setting up everything necessary so that the next fight that is won puts them one honorable mention for BLG, because it looked like it stopped on the way of trying to make that Protobelt pop in is on the left side, just ready to pressure when the moment calls for it.
So they're going to give up this inhibitor, and they're going to play on this, either this minion wave or the one that's incoming on mid, because that's basically last call for this game. Now, what I would like to see from IG is slowly squeeze the resources out of them. Dragon spawns in a minute, and the longer you can keep them trapped on this side of the base, means it's at least a little bit more palatable to walk into that dragon pit sooner rather than later. That is the Baron falling off in a few moments here.
Viper did pop the ultimate when transcended. Has GA available. Temper Fate on to 3. Oh, this Shockwave is gonna hit! It only hits onto 1. The Zonius was popped by Saboro, but Schwinn is going deep into the backline for IG. Fate Seal from Rookie. Decent response, but just not good enough. BLG continue to pin IG back towards the fountain. Look for the last Nexus turret, but Photic, Way, and Rookie are gonna try for one last Hail Mary before this game comes to a stopping end, and BLG finally do away with all the IG defenders. Way looks for another Vault Breaker, and BLG are going to try to pad the KDAs as much as possible, showing that this game was never IG's to be had. GG, well played.
In terms of getting down and, you know, in the dirt with some of IG's champions, I'm a little bit worried. Now, this could very easily turn into a game where, you know, Viper gets a solo kill.
Too much HP, but Way and Photic have control of the lane so far. And they're gonna get a decent size crash here on the Cannon Wave. Deadly Flourish right on top of On. Oh no! That's just a raw 2v2 solo kill.
Sure.
Everything works out in the end for Invictus Gaming. First dragon secured. The wings, but Knight flashes away in time, and the cover of Paranoia gives him the necessary means to retreat and a simultaneous play on top side.
Some of the early priority from either lane matchups or some flipping that's going on.
Had to try and make their way through. They're at least on the Herald. However, Jway and Wei are in the area, and they have to respect it right now.
Is this a leash? Are we leashing this objective?
On absorbs the dredge line, pops the ultimate once again.
No!
Oh, the Herald resets. And BLG are going to have to call it off.
I wonder if IG are going to go back and say, like, did we really need to
BLG are
ban
going to have to face check into that banana brush. Wei gets briefly spotted. Rookie is over on the right side. Darkness for the rest of BLG. Here comes
What is
Sun
this?
into the middle of all 5, and Knight is there to follow up on the play. Invictus Gaming did pretty much everything right, but the execution is still going BLG's way. Sapporo's trying to wreck house on the Viper, flashes after him, gets the first trade of the kill onto a BLG member. He's gonna revive thanks to the passive. Curtain call from Photic trying to fall on up, and Sapporo just can't get it done. Picks up a double onto 2, but the rest of BLG almost was a complete blowout by BLG. The fact that he trades 2 kills ensures that IG do not go home empty-handed, and they can at least try and set up for the Dragon again as we get it in the picture, but Knight has solo killed Rookie on the top side of the map. Knight has TP. He's going to join the fight now. Perfect execution, not available anymore, but he can still try and lend his power into the fight, and Invictus Gaming are dropping like flies. The Grim Deliverance ends up just being a delayed, inevitably end for Sapporo, and the third dragon will finally go the way of BLG.
These last 2 fights have come going over to Billy.
Photic's got to be careful. He does have Flash and Barrier available, but he's trying to use his...
You're looking good. Let's pop some questions here for BLG, but they completely fumble it 2 times in a row and have put their game in jeopardy now.
And listen, it is a tall task to try and coordinate a fight when you don't have vision from the Paranoia, and unfortunately, Sapporo is going to get a taste of darkness once again. BLG continuing to just hammer home this snowball, and IG are now running out of options of getting back into this game.
The solo laners are just clicking here tonight. Bin, Knight having monster performances on 2 very... Let me not say 2 very different champions, because Sion and Cassante are very similar. Maybe Orianna and Akali are different. That I'll give myself.
Sure.
Killing Rookie and Sapporo, especially this early on in the season, and from what we've seen from IG, doesn't seem like it's that impressive.
Oh no! Well, Jway had to go hunting for some vision and lay down some wards, and unfortunately he's the one that's getting laid down to rest and try and get ahead and get any someone's support.
Oh, is Akali going for it? Oh, we're doing this!
Oh boy. Well, supreme display of talent did momentarily stun a couple members, but the perfect execution is sending Sapporo back to the fountain on another...
So far this season.
There's been only a couple of performances in and there off of the perform... Oh my goodness!
Jesus Christ, man!
Well, so...
Alright. Rafa... Gunblade was taken out of the game. It turns out having point-and-click slows is not great. Cap some of the stats on this. Like, 80 AP is pretty ridiculous, especially for a 3,000 gold item.
Oh boy. Well, that was a lot of damage on Schwinn, but he's got a GA, so he's totally fine if he just wants to send it in there for the boys.
Oh!
Come on! That's the Alistar gameplay I've been waiting for you from all this second game. Ben is going to route off the escape pass of a couple members. Waybo desperately trying to get away from this massive Scion, and Rookie just expended his scatter of the week, so you know that Viper's flashing on him all day, every day. IG only down to 2 members, and BLG know that it's time to rip this Baron.
Yep, let's go take the big purple worm. Let's move it in so we can start to finish out this game. BLG, bit quieter early game, and that's the big misconception I want people to get away from, is there are going to be a lot of games that BLG are going to win this year by just having the best laners in the league, but what I've seen from them in some of these games has been incredible to watch, and we're going to see another mechanical display.
Oh my god. Knight is just pub stomping on IG corpses, continuing to aura farm. for the montage, and I'm sure that the LPL official TikTok and Instagram is going to have a hell of a time going back through this series and just farming highlights for Knight's montage plays as Sabor now steps up with Rookie behind him, trying to see if they can damage this guy. But here comes Swin, looks for Photic in the backline, says, I'm sorry, Jim, but you don't have Flash and you're not surviving. Rookie does expend the GA from this Nocturne, but he flashes away from the force of will, and Saboro tries to step on up, but a good sidestep from Schwinn, forcing him to use the Grim Deliverance. Clean use of the perfect shuriken backflip into the perfect execution. My goodness, BLG just all here for the style points. A 5-man push. Way alongside Dway. I don't know if they're going to be enough. On is going to hold them at the door. Supreme display of town on the 2, but Schwinn just blocks it with a spell shield, gets even more attack speed so he can finish this game out faster. And BLG with a clean sweep over IG.
A 30-minute win, 20-3.